Welcome back to CIS 105. Today we're going to work on Word Chapter 3, creating a business letter with a letterhead and a table. This begins on WD 121. Here you'll see the introduction. If you flip to WD 122, you'll see the completed letter with the table included. We'll begin by opening Word. On WD 123, we'll create a blank document. We'll verify that we are in print layout mode. We'll make sure that we turn on our show hide formatting marks on the home tab. We'll make sure that we go to the view tab and change our document to page width. The next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and change our margin settings. On WD 124, we'll go to the Layout tab, and we'll see we have the option for margins. Our margins are preset to normal margin, which is 1 inch all around. We're going to go ahead and change that to the moderate margin. You won't see much of a difference, but you'll notice that our paragraph symbol and insertion point moved a little bit further to the left as we've decreased our margin to 0.75 inches on left and right. Let's go ahead and let's look at WD 125. Here we're going to go ahead and insert a shape. Make sure your insertion point is right in front of the paragraph and choose the Insert tab. We'll find the shape options, so we'll say Shape, and we'll see that when we hover over it, it says Draw a Shape. So we'll click Draw a Shape. We'll find our rectangle shapes, and we'll use the basic rectangle. So rectangles, it's just a regular rectangle. So we'll click that. We'll notice that our insertion point turns to a plus sign or crosshairs. This means we're going to be able to draw a rectangle shape. So we'll just click and drag till we have a shape. You do not need to be exact. Just draw a rectangle. And you could stop. You notice that as soon as we let go, we'll find that we have the drawing tools that just showed up. Let's verify that our shape is approximately the size that the book is looking for. So in the size category on the right hand side of the Drawing Tools Format tab, we'll find the height. And the height we're looking for is actually 0.53 inches. And I was pretty close, 0.53. And the width is going to be 5.7 inches. 5.7. You could just click off of it and it'll go ahead and resize your shape. Now you notice that my rectangle is not centered right now, but we're going to go ahead and take care of that. Let's change our object's position. So this is considered an object right now. We'll see that we have an option for position. If we click the drop down on position, we'll see that right now I'm set up as in line with text. We're going to change that to top in center with square text wrapping. Now we've gone ahead and still inline text here. My text is still to the left of my shape, but I'm going to be going ahead and centered in the document. Let's work on the text wrapping option. So we'll click on text wrapping, and instead of choosing square text wrapping, we're going to choose top and bottom. This is important. When you change it to top and bottom, we'll see that our paragraph symbol now appears below our shape. You could also use the floating tool to adjust our text wrapping, top and bottom. And click the X to close that. On WD 129, we're going to apply a shape style. So right now our shape is the predefined basic blue shape. If we hit the drop down arrow for shape styles, we'll find that we have gray shape styles, and we're looking for the moderate effect gray 50% accent 3. We hover over, we'll see this is the correct one. And that just turned it to a gray shape. Now let's go ahead and add some text to our shape. So if we right-click on our shape, we're going to choose the option for Add Text. You'll notice that it made my text white, which is the default option for this particular style. We'll type the text Village of Apple Park, and we'll capitalize each important word. We don't want to press Enter at this time. Let's go ahead and let's select all of our text. We can do that in multiple ways. We can click and drag. We can triple click. The choice is up to you. We'll use the Home tab and we'll find our fonts. So right now we have our font size set to 11 point. We can use the Increase or Grow Font button to increase our font several times until we get to 26 point. The nice part about this is you don't have to try a font and find out that it's too big or still too small. You can go ahead and use the button to quickly increase the font a little at a time to see how it looks in your document. The text is still selected. We're going to bold that. We can use Control B on the keyboard or click the bold option. Let's go ahead and let's click on the Design tab. Let's click someplace off of the text just to deselect our text there. On the Design tab, we're going to go ahead and we're going to change our theme. By default, we're going to start in the Office theme, but we'd like to go ahead and change our theme to the Circuit theme. This is going to change that gray to a red color. We're going to insert an online picture, so let's choose Insert. Let's find Online Pictures. We'll open up our search option. We'll search Bing, and we're going to search for the word Apple. This is where you may have a couple of different things that appear as the textbook does. If we choose Show All Results, the very first option that comes up for me is an 800 by 800 picture of an apple, and that's the one that I'd like you to select if it's available. So we'll choose Insert. Now the important thing to make sure is you do not want to have your text still selected when you choose the insert. If you did, your apple would have replaced the text. You want it to click right below, so any place else right in front of the insertion point. So just in case, before you choose the insert, make sure you're clicked down the bottom, and if you've made a mistake you can always use the back button. Go to Insert, Online Picture, type Apple. Once again, I'm going to say Show All Results, and I'm going to pick the first option. That way we make sure that it appears in front of the paragraph symbol, not in place of the words Village of Apple Park. We're going to resize our picture right now. So our picture is still selected. We're going to go to the, make sure we're on the Format tools. We'll see Size, and we'll see the Advanced Size options. Alright, so let's select the Size tab, which we are here. And we're going to go ahead and change our height from a height of 100% to a height of 8%. And notice that our lock aspect ratio is still selected. So we'll choose 8%. As soon as I go to click on the width, it's going to automatically adjust that to 8% as well. If I click on the OK button, my apple's going to resize nice and small and be approximately the right size. And the size that we're looking for is 0.53 by 0.53. So we'll see my shape is still selected. It's 0.53 by 0.53. If it doesn't match that shape, you can always go in here, hit the Advanced Layout Size or Size Options, change it to 0.53 by 0.53. You may need to uncheck the lock aspect ratio, so that way you can go ahead and adjust them to exactly. And this would be the case if you chose a different picture than the one I selected, which had an 800 by 800 pixel. Okay, let's go ahead and change the color of our graphic. So We'll make sure the graphic is still selected. We'll find the color option. We'll hit the drop down, and we're going to choose the color option under recolor, which is the washout color. We'll see that it's very light right now. Our graphic is still selected. We're going to click on the color option again, and we're going to use the option for set transparent color. So if you look at my mouse pointer right now, it sort of looks like a medicine dropper that we're going to use to suck the background out of the picture. So I'm going to click that yellow color with my left mouse button, and I'm going to suck the color out of my apple. You may need to use the undo option if you accidentally selected the leaf or the stem or the apple itself. Just be careful where you click. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the Corrections tab to adjust the brightness and contrast. So let's find the brightness of -20 and contrast of -20. So if you look at it, brightness -20, contrast -20. Oftentimes when you do this step, unfortunately, depending on the graphic, the color comes back into your transparent color. So you may need to redo the set transparent color. And once again, it doesn't always work. So we'll set here, we'll choose set transparent color, and we'll try once again to remove the background color. So I had to do that step twice. Unfortunately, it depends upon what graphic you get from Bing at the time. Let's apply a border to our graphic. Our graphic is still selected. We're going to make sure we're on the Picture Tools and Format option, and we're going to have the option for a picture border. We'll click on Picture Border. We'll get some predefined colors, and we're going to be looking for the color that is Lime Accent 1, darker 25%. Remember, if you missed the step to change the theme to the circuit theme, you will not have the proper color, and you'll also most likely see gray instead of red on the background of Village Apple Park. So now I've applied a border around my picture. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to change our picture's text wrapping. So we've got multiple places to select it. As long as we have it selected here, we can use the text wrapping under Layout Options here, or we can go ahead and go to the Wrap Text option up here. I'm going to use the text wrapping. Alright, so we'll see that we have the option to position our text, our document, in front of text. So we have through, we have tight, we have square, we have top and bottom, we have behind, and we have in front of text. And if you look at the rainbow, you'll see how it appears. So we're going to choose in front of text. Now we'll see that I'll click the X. Now that we'll see that my paragraph symbol is basically behind or in front, depending on how you look at it, of the apple. Because we chose this option, we're able to freely drag our apple wherever we like. And we like to drag it and set it as close as we can to being perfectly centered with our shape. If we click it, we might have to do a little bit of nudging, and you can use that with the up and down arrows on the keyboard to move it way lower, way higher, left or right, to make sure that it is aligned as best as we possibly can. It does not need to be perfect. Okay, so now that we have this selected, our 8 dots still appear around it, we can use the copy and paste. So if we go to the Home tab, we can use the copy or Control-C on the keyboard. We can click someplace down here in the paragraph symbol, and we can go ahead and choose the paste option or Control-V. Now what that means is we made a second copy with the exact same wrapping. We can take our graphic and we can drag it. We can also choose the option for how we want our formatting to appear. So if I use the undo button, if I went and did select, copy, and then I chose, I'll click down here, I'll choose paste, but I'll hit the drop down there. I'll have the option for paste using source formatting or the picture, and I want to keep source formatting. This is going to maintain all of my options that we've already selected. Now, we can take our picture, we can drag it, we can move it around. And for some reason, my picture doesn't quite look as nicely as the top one did. So I'm probably going to go ahead and delete it, and then just copy, and then do a copy, and then a paste, and see if that makes a difference. And for some reason, it looks a little better this time. It must have changed some of my options in there. We can take our picture, we can drag it around, and we're going to drag it and try to position exactly on the right side as close as we can to what the other one looks like. So try to center it left and right, up and down a little bit. Once again, it doesn't need to be perfect, but you can sure try. So we're going to flip to WD-140 right now, where we use the option to flip our graphic. So what I can do is I can use the Picture Tools Format option, and we can use the option for Rotate to flip horizontal. And what this is going to do is this is going to do basically a mirror image of the exact graphic that we had on the left as on the right. That way the leaf points the opposite direction, and so does the little reflection on the apple. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and start entering some text. So we will click where the paragraph symbol is down the bottom. We'll use Control-C or the center button, and we'll start typing the text. And the text that we're going to want to type will be in 12-point font. So we'll adjust that to 12-point font. We can use the Grow Font button, or we can type 12. And the text will be 15 Center Street, comma, Horizon, comma, MT, space, 33568. We're going to press the space bar. Let's insert a symbol. So we'll go to the Insert option. We'll find the option for symbol all the way to the right. It will hit the drop-down arrow. We're going to choose, when this shows up, we're going to choose the More Symbols option. Here we'll find a list of the most commonly used symbols. Let's flip to WD-142. Under Normal Text, we're going to change the subset from currency, or whatever it shows up, to General Punctuation. Here we'll see the most commonly used general punctuation symbols. And we'll find a symbol that when we hover over it should say bullet. Especially if we click it, it'll say bullet. This symbol happens to be character code 2022. If I choose Insert one time, you won't really see much happen. Just click Insert and then click Close. That symbol, the bullet, appeared at the end. We'll click a space, and then we'll type parenthesis 870 close parenthesis space 555-4400 space. Let's insert another symbol. So we'll click the symbol option again, but because we just used the bullet symbol, it's going to appear in our frequently used or recently used symbols list. So we'll click the bullet symbol again. We'll choose space, and we'll type email. And I already spotted the mistake. We'll fix it in a second. Email, space, APPLE, park, at world.com. Now this mistake I spotted was I did not type the word phone in front of the phone number. So I'll type PHONE, colon, space. So now it's going to look just like figure 3-32 on WD-143. I'll press the End key to get to the very end of my paragraph. Let's apply a bottom border to our paragraph. So we'll go on to the Home tab and make sure that your insertion point is in the paragraph, the very last symbol, very last space. We'll choose the Borders option. Let's click the drop down for Borders, and we'll choose a bottom border. Our bottom border should extend all the way across the entire paragraph, not just under the text. That's how you know you got the right border, and it could be where your insertion point was when you tried to insert it. After we've done that, we're going to, after the end of the email, before the paragraph symbol, we're going to press the Enter key. When you do this, we're going to notice that we've done two things. We've converted our text to a hyperlink automatically, and we've moved that bottom border one extra line down. To correct that, we're going to use the Clear Formatting button in the Font category of the Home tab, the one that looks like an eraser. We'll click Clear All Formatting, and what that did was that left aligned because we cleared out our center line that we used here, and it moved our bottom paragraph border to the text that we just typed. It reset everything from 12 point down to 11 point. So we did all that with one click. Alright, but we still need to address that hyperlink. Right now our hyperlink is green because that's the theme for a hyperlink for this particular circuit theme. We're going to right click someplace in the hyperlink. We'll have the option for Remove Hyperlink. When we do that, we're going to convert the text back to regular black text instead of being clickable. And you know what? Honestly, you don't need it to be clickable if you're printing a letterhead because no one can click the link, right? If you're emailing somebody, it'd be a great idea to leave that as a clickable link. Let's save our letterhead. And this letterhead is going to be saved with the name Apple Park Letterhead. So we'll go ahead and we'll save File, Save As. We'll find where we've been saving all our documents. I've been saving mine to the Documents folder under my CAS 105 Classwork folder. And we'll see that it tried to give me a file name, though it wasn't the correct one, which is going to be Apple Park Letterhead. Apple Park Letterhead, and we'll click Save. Now I've got my completed letterhead here. Now, one of the things that you can do when you do a letter is you can do something, and we'll call it a form letter. Imagine you were sending out a letter to tons of different businesses. And instead of wanting to recreate your letterhead every single time, you can use one that you've created one time and just keep recycling it. So a great example of this would be to go ahead now and choose the option to save our letterhead with a brand new file name. So we'll say File, Save As. We'll save it to the exact same location, but instead of saving it with the name Apple Park Letterhead, we're going to rename it to Lee Vendor Letter. So we'll select the text and we'll make it say Lee, L-E-E, Vendor Letter. And we'll hit Save. So now we have a new file name. Now once again, we're doing this because we don't want to have to recreate this every time we type a letterhead. And this way we're using the same exact one every time, which means we're very consistent with our look. On WD-148, with the insertion point clicked in the paragraph symbol under the line, we're going to switch to the no space style. So that's on the Home tab, no space. We're going to look at WD-149. Right now my ruler is not displayed. To display the ruler, we'll go to the View tab, and we'll click the option for Ruler. Now my rulers have automatically appeared. we'll click on or flip to WD150, where we're going to set a custom tab stop. So with the insertion point at the paragraph symbol, again right here, we're going to make sure that our ruler is shown, again on the View tab, ruler. We're going to point to the 4-inch mark. So that's right here on the ruler, 4-inch mark. And as exactly on 4 inches as you can, you just want to click with the left mouse button. If you notice, I've got what looks like an L right now. This is a left tab stop. If you look to the left here, you'll see that my tab stop option says left tab. It looks like an L. If you were to click through this, and we'll go back to left again, you'll see that left tab stop, center tab, right tab stop, decimal tab, bar tab. This is the first line indent. This is the hanging indent. And then we have back to left tab. So this is a great way to go ahead and click. And what this is going to do is this is going to make it so that way by default Word uses a 0.5 inch tab. Every time you press the tab key, it's going to indent it by 0.5 inches. But because we used a 4-inch tab stop, now when we press the enter key and then we press the tab key, we'll notice that we have a much larger tab set exactly at 4 inches, because we set our left tab stop to be no longer 0.5, but rather 4 inches. Now that we've done that, we're going to look at WD151. We're going to be on the Insert tab. We're going to find date and time. We're going to find the desired format, which is October 2nd, 2017. So let's find the word. And again, you're going to see September 11th, 2018. It would depend upon if your computer is showing the correct date and time or it's using the default. So this one's going to be September 11, 2018. And there's a comma in there, don't forget that. Now that we've inserted the correct date and time, we're actually going to make sure that we had the checkbox adjusted there. So I'm going to undo what I just did, and I'm going to go back to that date and time, and I'm going to make sure that September 11, 2018, but I don't want the update automatically checkbox selected. Usually it's not, but we want to make sure it's not selected. What that would do is every time you go into the letter, it would update the date, and we don't need that to happen every time. We'll flip to WD152. We're going to press enter 1 time. Notice we went all the way back to the left margin. 2 times, 3 times. So we're going to have 2 blank lines under our date. We're going to type the text that we see 3-44 on 152. This is Miss, and it's a lowercase s, Miss space Tamara space Lee. We'll press enter. The business is Tams Artistic Designs. Enter. We're going to type 1587 space Willow Road. Enter. We're going to say Juniper, comma, space, MT, space, 33522. We're going to press enter twice at this point because we want a blank line. 1, 2. And then we're going to type the text, Dear Miss Lee. Dear, space, MS period, LEE. After that, we're going to go ahead and create a building block. So I don't need to press enter at this point. We're going to select the text that we want to use to create our building block. In this case, it will be Tam's Artistic Designs. So let's select all of that text, but not include the paragraph symbol. So this case here, you're going to need to do a click and drag because you don't want the paragraph symbol selected. So make sure you don't do that. Now, with Tam's Artistic Design selected without the paragraph symbol, we're going to still be on the Insert option here. We're going to find Quick Parts. And that will be under the Text category. We'll hit the drop-down arrow here. Once we do that, we're going to find the option for Save Selection to Quick Part Gallery. We'll see that the name appears, and we want to change the name to TAD, T-A-D, T-A-D, for Tam's Artistic Designs. It's going to say Quick Parts, it's going to be General, it's going to be a building block only, and it's going to say Insert Content Only. So basically the defaults, we'll click OK. Now, not much has changed here, but if we go back to Quick Parts, we'll see that we now have a building block that's already created. So let's click the building block, we'll right click, and we'll choose Edit Properties. We'll see we bring up the same exact menu we were in before, TAD, Quick Parts, General. But instead of being a quick part, we're going to change the drop down to Auto Text. We're going to put a description in here, which is going to be Event Vendor. It's still going to say Normal. It's still going to say Insert Content Only. We're going to click OK. If you get this option, you're going to say Yes. Now, if you go back to Quick Parts again, you're not going to see the Quick Part in there because it's going to appear under Auto Text. You'll see TAD is right here. Okay, so now that we have the Quick Part created, we're going to right-click on the salutation and press the Enter key. So let's click down here, left-click rather. All right, Dear Miss Lee, make sure we have a colon in there. We're going to press the Enter key twice. 1, 2. All right. Now that we've done that, so click to the right of the colon. If you don't have the colon type the colon. We're going to type the text that we see on WD-155, which is the Park District, and it's lowercase p, sorry. Park District Board space has approved the vendor application for your business. Comma. And we're going to type TAD. Now there's two ways to do this. Typing TAD, which is the thing that we typed, which was the auto text. When we do that and press the F3 key, it'll insert the auto text TAD. Remember that stood for Tam's Artistic Designs. And we press F3 and it's going to fill out Tam's Artistic Designs, or we can click the back arrow. I'm going to delete the word TAD. If I went back up to Quick Parts and I went to Auto Text, I can use the option for TAD. It's going to do the same exact thing, except I didn't have to press F3. Whatever way you remember is perfectly acceptable. After that, we're going to make sure we're at the paragraph symbol right after the S for designs, and we're going to press a period. We're on WD-155, flipping to after the period, we're going to press the space bar, and we're going to insert the text, your check for $150 for a 10 by 20, so 10x20 space booth has been deposited, comma, and we are excited that you will be participating in our fall. After the word fall, we're going to press on the keyboard Control, Shift, and the space bar. You need to do this all at the same time. So Control, Shift, space bar. If you notice this circle here, that's more like a superscript version of our space. It's going to be a hollow or blank looking space, just the outline of it. If I continue typing the word festival, watch what happens. Now, before, fall absolutely fit on the line above. But because we inserted something called a non-breaking space, it means that the words fall and festival must appear on the same line regardless of where one would have fit and the other one didn't. After the word festival, we're going to press the space bar. Pardon me, we're going to type a period. Okay, let's press the space bar now, and we'll enter more text. And the text will be the table below outlines the timetable for vendors, colon. We'll press enter twice to insert a blank line so that we can start at our table. Now we're already on the insert tab. If you're not, make sure you're on the insert tab, and we're going to be looking at this table option. We'll click the arrow for table, and this is going to give us the option to draw or basically fill out what size table we want. And we're going to be looking for a 3 by 1 table. So you'll notice it says, as I bring it over, it says 1 by 1, 2 by 1, 3 by 1. So we'd like to choose the option for a 3 by 1 table. We're flipping to WD 158. So we have a 3 by 1 table. Our table looks exactly like figure 3-55 on WD 158. With the insertion point in the table, it should automatically go to the leftmost cell in the table. We're going to type the text that we see on direction number 1 on 158, which is the word activity. Now, we don't want to press the enter key in this situation. We want to press the tab key. That brings us to the middle column in our table. This is going to be event dates. We'll press the tab key again, and we'll type the word times. Now, you don't want to press enter as well, because if you pressed enter, and I'll undo this to show you, you'll go ahead and just create a new blank line. And I don't want to do that. So what I want to do is, after I type the word times, I want to press the tab key again. Now, Word's going to realize that we must want another row in our table. So after the very last cell in the rightmost column of the table, we'll press tab. It'll bring us to a brand new row in the table. Here, we're going to enter the text that we see on WD 159. So we'll enter the text booth setup. We'll press tab. This is going to be Friday, comma, October 27, tab, 5 o'clock, space, 2, space, 9, colon, space, 0, 0, space, P period, M period. If I press the tab key again, I'll go to the brand new row. This one's going to be booth setup. Tab. We're going to type Saturday. And notice I have a tooltip here that's telling me, do you want to type the word Saturday? So I'll go ahead and press Enter to go ahead and automatically type the word Saturday. Saturday, comma, space, October 28, tab, 9 a.m., 9 colon, 0, 0, space, A period, M period, space, 2, space, 6, colon, 0, 0, space, P period, M period. I'll press tab again. My apologies, this should have said sales, booth sales. Fix that really easily. Booth sales for the second one. Booth sales again for the third row. Booth sales, tab. This one's going to be Sunday. Sunday, comma, space, October 29, tab, 9, 0, 0, space, A period, M period, space, 2, 3, colon, 0, 0, space, P period, M period, tab. And this one's going to be booth takedown. DOWN. Tab, Sunday, comma, October, space, 29, tab, 3, colon, 0, 0, 2, 7, colon, 0, 0. And this can be space, P period, M period. After we finish that, we don't want to press Enter, we don't want to press Tab. We want to stay in that cell. So the next thing I want to do is I want to, on WD 160, I want to apply a style to my table. So the first direction is, if the first column, we're going to find table styles, and we're going to see that there's some predefined table styles here. So the one I'm looking for is going to appear as grid table 6, colorful accent 3. So let's find grid table 6, colorful accent 3, and we need to find the right ones, probably over here. List, let's find grid. Grid table 6, colorful accent 3. Alright, so we're in the right category now. It's also going to depend on your monitor how things wrap. So grid table 6, colorful accent 3. We'll click that, and we've applied a style to our entire table with one click. Let's resize our table on WD-161. The insertion point is someplace in the table. We're going to be on the Layout tab of Table Tools. We'll find the option for Auto Fit, and we're going to Auto Fit to Contents. This is going to resize all of our columns in our table to the width of the widest entry. So October 29th, probably 3 p.m., and the word takedown. So now that we've done that, we'll go ahead and flip to 162. We'll select the column times, so this one is easiest to just do a click and drag. Or we can use the down arrow. If we click and we hover, we'll see that we get a downward pointed arrow. We click that. It does the same thing as a click and drag. We'll get our little floating toolbar. We've selected our column. We're going to choose the option on WD-164 to align our text. So let's go to the alignment option. We're going to choose the option for Align Top Center. You'll notice that our times and everything is centered now. Let's center the entire table. To select the entire table, we're going to use the four-headed arrow you'll see that there's a four-headed arrow on the left side of the table. We'll click that. That means we selected the entire table, or we can click and drag over the entire table as well if you want. Prefer to click the table that way. That way it gets the end, tab symbols. All right, so let's center our table. So we'll select the entire table. We'll use the floating toolbar or the home option, and we'll choose center or Control E. So our entire table is centered now. Now I want to save at this point so that way I don't lose my work. So we'll save again with the title Lee Vendor Letter. So now that my center button is selected, we're going to flip to WD 166. We're going to click someplace in the word activity, doesn't matter where in the word activity, and we're going to use the option for table layout. We're going to use the option for insert above, and this isn't the only way you have to do this. You can go ahead, besides clicking insert above on the layout tab, you can right click in the word activity. You'll have a floating toolbar that'll appear that's going to say insert, and when you do that, it's going to say where would you like to insert. You can choose insert above. It does the exact same thing, and you don't have to flip to a new tab. You can just do the one that you're already working on. We do need to be on the layout tab for this. With our cells all still selected, 1, 2, and 3 selected, we're going to choose the option for merge cells. So we'll click merge cells, and now we've made one great big giant cell versus 3 independent cells. We're going to flip to WD 168. Let's change the font text in the first row. So we'll click on the first row and we'll type the text vendor timetable. Vendor timetable. We'll select the text activity, event dates, and times. We're going to click the bold option, so I can use Control B on the keyboard or Home and bold. You'll notice that when we do that, unfortunately, it unbolds first, so we'll have to click bold again to bold all of it. Now what I don't want to do is I don't want to have all the text that says booth setup sales. All this, I don't want this bolded, so I can select all of that, and I could unbold that as well. So now it's just going to be activity, event dates, and times are bold, as well as the vendor timetable is bolded. After we've done that, we're going to make sure that our insertion point is in the paragraph symbol below the table. And we're going to press the Enter key to insert a blank line. We'll type the text, please note the following vendor guidelines : After that, we'll press the Enter key. I'm going to type an asterisk key. So that is Shift 8. And that's going to put an asterisk there. Once I do that and I press a space bar, Word is going to automatically convert this to a bulleted list. The text we're going to type is vendors space must bring space their own tables space and chairs, period. Once I do that, I'm going to press Enter. Word is going to automatically continue with my bulleted list. We're going to type the text vendors must supply their own electrical cords, period. Enter. Vendors space shall space, comply, space, with, fire, comma, space, safety, comma, space, and health regulations, period. After that, I'm going to press the Enter key. It's going to think I'm going to continue typing another bullet item, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to press Enter again, and where it's automatically going to turn off my bulleting and bring my paragraph symbol all the way to the left. I want to insert a blank line, so I'll just press Enter again. We're going to continue typing the text, and this is the text that appears on 171. And this text will be, we also request, space, that all vendors, space, donate, space, one item from their booth to our fundraising efforts, period. Period. Space. We look forward to your business comma. Now, once again, you can do the building block by typing TAD and pressing F3 on the keyboard, or instead of typing TAD, you can go to the Insert tab. You could find Quick Parts, you could find Auto Text, and you could select it there. I'm going to type TAD, and I press F3, and it's going to convert that to the building block that was Tam's Artistic Designs. After that, we're going to type a comma, space, taking part in our event, period, space. Please contact me if you need additional information, period. We're going to press Enter 2 times. Now remember how we set a 4-inch tab stop? Still has a 4-inch there. If we press Tab at this point, we'll automatically go to the exact same 4-inch tab stop that we've already typed. This will be sincerely. Comma. We'll press Enter 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We'll press Tab again. Camden, space, ACKERMAN. We'll press Enter. We're going to press Tab again. And this is going to be Park District Events Coordinator. Park District Events Coordinator. We're going to go ahead and save this. On WD-172, if we were going to print this, we would select the text, Miss Tamara Lee, all the way through the zip code. We'd go to the Mailings tab. We'd say we were printing labels. It would bring up the label option here for us. We'd see that our labels are already pre-filled out with the address label. we choose the option for return address, and we can go ahead and type our return address in here. I don't actually want to print this, so I'm not going to do this, but you can get the idea of how to type labels, how to type envelopes. Return address, labels as this is your address for your return address that way. Once again, I don't need to do this, so we don't actually want to do it because we don't need to print it. So I'm going to cancel out of this. Okay, now that we've completed this, we could save it one more time, and we should be able to upload this to the portal. Okay, so let's go to the portal. We'll make sure that we go to the Assignments tab. We'll find that I use Word Module 3. We'll click that. We'll see that this is the directions that we're following all the way to 173. We're going to choose Upload a File. We're going to say Choose. We're going to find the file using Upload. My file is located in my Documents folder in CIS 105. In my Classwork folder, and I actually have two of them to upload. I have Apple Park letterhead, so we'll click that one and choose Open. And we'll choose Insert. You don't need to label it. You can choose Add. You do have a second file to upload, so you'll click Upload. We'll say Choose. We'll go back to Upload again. We'll find the Lee vendor letter, and we'll choose Open. And then we'll choose Insert as well. Again, it's going to appear here. You don't need to label it. You'll choose Add File. Now they've uploaded both the Apple Park letterhead and the Lee vendor letter. You can choose the big blue button to turn in your completed document. And that's Chapter 3.